So in this training, we're going to talk about how to set up your Pinterest business. For many of us, when we first got started on the Pinterest platform, the only option we had was to create a personal account. So now you want to definitely turn that into a business account. And if you're setting it up for the first time for your client, you want to set up the business account. You're going to want to set this up through www.business.pinterest.com. And this allows you to set up this business account. And I'm going to walk you through it right now. So welcome to Pinterest. One of the things you're going to need is an email address to get started. Pretty simple. Make sure it's relevant to your business and it's easily to access. Especially if you're doing this for client work, you want to make sure your client knows how to not only access the email address, but it's also the same email address they're using on their other platforms, so it creates congruency between them and they don't have to try to figure out what email address to use. The password, really up to you to create, or if your client or you as a business have a specific password to use, get that set up. The business name is really important. This is the same business name you want to be using as you've used on every other platform, whether it's Twitter or Facebook, Amazon, anywhere that you've used your business name, you want the same business name here on Pinterest. We want to create that congruency across all platforms. The next element is to choose the category that best represents your business. Now, Pinterest has a wide variety of categories to choose from, so go ahead and click that drop-down button, scroll through, and find the best one for your client or for your business. And then it's as simple as creating your account. Now, once you create your account, this is what really sets Pinterest apart from any other platform, is that you want to verify your web address. Because Pinterest actually gives you more weight to your pins and has you show up and rank better in the search engines if you verify your website. So this is one thing you want to do if you're doing client work, is make sure that their site is verified. If you have to work with their tech person, I highly recommend it. If you are their tech person, then you definitely want to make sure you're verifying this. This just says to Pinterest, hey, this is a site that if we're going to be doing any type of content creation, any type of promoted pins, this site belongs to me and it's going to carry the most weight because this is my business. And after all, if you're going to create a business account on Pinterest, you want your business to be represented on this platform. Now, if you don't have a website and you're not ready to have that, you can add it later. So there is an option to come back and correct this later underneath the settings section inside your Pinterest back office. The next thing you're going to see is Pinterest asks you to choose topics that support your business. Now, here's where a lot of people get stuck, is they think that it's got to be topics about their business. But here's where I want you to open the doors and really open your mind to what you're creating. If your client has an avatar, you want to start looking at relevant topics that apply to your avatar for your client. You want to not only find things for your business, but also what's an interest to the customers that your client is trying to find. That's what makes Pinterest so different, is that it's about not only your business, but what's important to your customers. And in knowing that and in choosing the topics for this, you can actually create and expand your influence on the Pinterest platform. Once you're done with that, you're just going to hit the done button. Now, a couple things I want you to remember is we talked about you want to claim your website. Well, when you claim your website, you're going to want to do a little bit of work over on your blog and website. So for those of you who have this is going to be really relevant for you. If not, you might want to skip this section right here, but I know you're going to find a lot of value, so stick with me. There's a save button option, and you want this for all your graphics on your site. The reason for this is that when people see things that inspire them around the web, this allows them to pin that content onto their boards. So even if they're not on Pinterest, a lot of what we found is that people go out to the web and they search. And they're searching different websites, different platforms, and if they're inspired by an image or a product, they want to be able to save that to their boards. So making sure that your website is Pinterest friendly is going to be a big part of this. So creating that save button is going to be critical. You also may want to be followed on Pinterest. This is a great way to build your influence, to build your audience, and to get found is, hey, follow me on Pinterest. Why wouldn't you? I follow a lot of businesses on Pinterest because I am pulled by what they create, what they build. And I'll be honest, one of the big things that I do on Pinterest is I'm creating my dream office right now. So I go there and I search for everything from sit-stand desks to chairs to lighting to everything I could possibly need, down to the carpeting on the floor. I use the entire board that I create just for that one. So I love to follow brands because I want to be inspired around what I want to create inside my office. Pin widgets are another element. So if you're creating pins on the platform, you can highlight and showcase your favorite pins, ones that are making a difference on the platform. This is going to be a huge piece to being found on Pinterest. The other element on your website, and this is really incredible piece, is that this adds extra content to your pins. It actually refines and gives people a better idea of what the pin they're looking at, because it's called a rich pin. So it pulls the metadata, and that might sound a little confusing or scary, but it pulls that extra description around what the image is and what the pin is, and it allows you to add an extra element of ranking on the Pinterest platform because you're going to be using keywords to do this. So as we've talked about in this segment, we talk about how to set up your business account, which is really important that you get this right, and we talk about how to optimize your website for Pinterest. So what we're going to show you next is how to create the content and the pin images that are going to grab the attention of your customers to be found on the Pinterest platform. I'm going to share with you pins that drive traffic and pins that help your engagement. So stay tuned for the next video. So in this training, we're talking about content creation and your boards. Two key things that are really going to set you apart when you start building your platform for not only your business, but maybe even for your client's business. So let's dive right into this. I told you before that we were going to talk about how to get found on the Pinterest platform. And that's what I'm showing you right here with this first image. This is what we call the Pinterest search. Pinterest search is a really an invaluable tool to be using, not only for clients, but also for your business. What this allows you to do is to put in a keyword. So it could be a short one word or a keyword phrase. But what it does for you is that Pinterest says, hey, let me show you all the other relevant words that are being used and the long tail keywords that are being used on this platform. So it's giving you everything you need to know about the research and what people are searching for on the Pinterest platform. The example I'm using here is camping. So if you put in the word camping, it'll tell you hacks. You can find pins around food, find pins around camping tents, crafts you can do, and the list goes on and on. And if you scroll on the scroll bar at the very top of this, it'll keep giving you more and more keywords and what people are searching for. This is an invaluable element of the Pinterest platform because it's not seen anywhere else. You don't have to use external tools. You can just say, hey, Pinterest, what are people coming here to search for? And Pinterest is like, here you go. They're basically serving it up to you and saying, we're giving you everything you need, especially as a business, to help you engage with the customers that are looking for what you have to sell. The other really interesting thing about this one is that it's not just this element right here. These are just pins and the keywords that are used. What I'm about to show you next is really the next element of Pinterest, is that you can also do Pinterest search for product pins. So if you're looking for products specifically around camping, you can click on that and it'll show you all the products that you can buy around camping. This is great research that you can do for your clients and even for your own business. You can search people. Maybe there's people of influence or celebrities that are out there doing camping. Could be, you don't know. So now you can actually find the people that are influencers, people that are using this and they're talking about it, and then you kind of have an idea of who your competition is, which I think Pinterest does extremely well in showing you everybody that you can find on here. Then you can also find boards. What this does for you is that you can do this research for your clients. You can say, well, these are some similar boards that are out there. These ones seem to be doing really well. And especially how they show up in the search engines when you click on it gives you an idea of types of keywords that are used, which we're going to talk about here in just a moment. So what Pinterest gives you is everything you need to do the research for your clients. And if you have your own business, it allows you to do your own type of research so you know what the pinners on Pinterest are looking for. Now, if you get stuck, there's a great tool called Answer the Public. And what Answer the Public allows you to do is that you can then put in your keyword that you found on Pinterest, and it'll say, these are all the questions that are being asked around this keyword, allowing for you to create incredible content for your client, heck, even for your own business. So this is a great resource, and this is a perfect platform for you to be on to start researching and creating your content. Now, once you have the content, one thing you're definitely going to want to do is start creating your boards. And the boards, as we'll be talking about, It's all about SEO. So you want to make sure that you set up your boards in a way that they're being found on Pinterest. As I said earlier, not only does Pinterest allow you to be found on the Pinterest platform, but then you become part of the search engines also. And a lot of times I've seen boards rank on Google specifically for keywords. So you really want to make sure you're setting up your boards correctly the first time. This brand right here I love because when they set up their boards, they also set up cover images. Now I know when I see these boards, not only what the topic is about around the boards, but I know what to expect when I dive into them, helping me find my ideas and inspiration even faster than trying to figure it out on my own. So crafting your boards so that they're found for your business or your clients is really a key element. Now, there are a couple of elements to creating your boards. There are 5 elements actually. There's the name of your board, which I absolutely recommend you SEO correctly. Don't get really crazy with this. Look at it from how do you want to be found on Pinterest. So you want the board name, you want a description. Now again, the description, you want to be using some of your keywords that you've discovered and what your clients want or even what you want as a business. So you want to have it in here. And the other interesting thing around this is that you can use hashtags inside your boards now. And hashtags allow you to become part of the category or catalog on Pinterest. So you want to have maybe 1 or 2 hashtags inside your boards, but really hashtags have a better purpose inside of the pins, which we'll talk about here in just a moment. You also want to give this board a category. Remember, Pinterest, when we dive into it, is separating their whole visual platform on how to be found. So they create categories, and how you're placed inside these categories actually helps you rank in their news feed inside of this platform. So making sure this is set up correctly with who are your customers in your mind ahead of time really makes this easier to start in the beginning. You can keep your board secret, which you might think, well, why would I want to keep a board a secret? Well, if you're working with your client and maybe they're inspired by the Pinterest platform, maybe they want to share with you some of the ideas of the pins they want to see or the graphics they want, you can actually use this for client work. So you can have your client say, hey, what are you seeing on Pinterest, the types of pins that you'd like to see? What graphics are being used, what's the colors you want me to use around your brand. This really helps you develop what you're looking for your client, and it's done on a secret board, but again, even for you, you can use this as a way to really know how to best grow their business because they're telling you and they're showing visually what they want. And since this is a visual search engine, this does make a lot of sense. So you can keep them secret and you can invite people in to be on part of those secret boards, or you can make it public so that you're found. The last element of this one, and we do talk about this in the engagement element, is the collaboration. Now, you can invite other companies, businesses, even your clients and customers to come and collaborate on boards. What I found that works really well for businesses is to get to know your customer. Create a collaboration board where your customers can actually share what they're doing with the products, maybe share how they're using furniture inside their house. This is a great place that they can collaborate and feel like they're part of your brand. That's what makes collaboration boards really powerful from a customer perspective, and I'm going to show you the power of it that you're going to have as a business perspective. So once the board's created, all you have to do is save it. So now that your boards have been created, how do you create the perfect pin for your client or even for your business? So on this slide, I reference with you some of the best tools that I use for the Pinterest platform. Now, each of these platforms or each of these tools uses a different style to their pins. So they're giving you the element of what a pin should be. They give you the template for it. And now you can manipulate it for your customer or your client on how to best serve them. So things like Canva, Corello, Easel, even PicMonkey, they've already tell you the exact dimensions you need, which is, in case you're curious, it's 600 by 900 pixels for the perfect image for Pinterest. This is what they prefer on this platform. So it's a thinner image, but more vertical. What we tend to see on social media is that it's a wider image and a little shorter. So Pinterest has a different type of graphic that needs to be created for it, which makes Pinterest a little graphic intensive. So having these tools can make your life a whole lot easier. Now, when we look at the types of graphics that do really well, or the types of pins that do really well on the platform, there's 2 types that I see do extremely well. The first one is what we call a Pinterest title graphic. So the best types of images on here are going to be ones that really highlight your blog content. So creating ones that re-say the name, this is great for SEO, this is great for the description, and it's great for the title that's on this. And if you have pin rich enabled, this is going to pull that extra content over there, really making your pins dynamic on the Pinterest platform. The second type of pin that we should do really well on here is the infographic. Now, the infographic is really set up for more of engagement. All the information they need is already on the pin. So this is great for repinning, for getting engagement, to let people know about your brand, where the pin before that really is about driving traffic. This one's about engagement, being seen, providing a little bit of information so they don't ever have to leave the platform, but they get a sense of who you are. And if they so desire, they can click on this pin, and you want to make sure that this is important when you do a infographic. This infographic should reside somewhere on the content or the website of your client's business or your own business. Because Pinterest really is about not only the image, but how do I find it? How can I get more information about it? Now, typically we don't see people go from Pinterest, from an infographic to off-site, but I do it all the time because I want to know if there's more information that maybe I'm missing, or maybe I'm intrigued by the product or the thought process here and I want to get my hands on that. So always make sure that you have a link attached to every single image on the Pinterest platform. So with this knowledge, you've now been empowered not only to how to research the Pinterest platform, to make sure you know what your client's looking for, what customers are looking for, and how to best set up your business. You also know how to craft your boards and to create pins that are really going to engage the pinner on this platform. After all, they're here to be inspired and to find new products and services, and you've done just that by setting up your boards and your pins correctly. In the next training, we're going to dive into how to grow and engage your audience on the Pinterest platform, and I think you're really going to love this training. So in this training, we're talking about growing and engaging your audience on the Pinterest platform. What makes this so unique is that Pinterest is evolving, and it's really saying, hey, we want growth and we really want engagement. We want people to be inspired by what they're finding on this platform, and we want to do it in such a way that it actually invites community and it invites the pinners to really engage with one another. And this is a powerful tool to have, especially as a business or for those that you're doing client work for. So let's go dive into this. One of the things you might not know is that the following of people on the Pinterest platform has become really important. So as you build your following on Pinterest, you're not just going to want to follow anybody. You're really going to want to follow people that are relevant to those that are in your business or for your clients. You want to engage with them. You want to find people that have an interest in what your client has to offer, or even what your business has to offer. So following people isn't just something to do on this platform. It really does become intentional now, because what Pinterest said is, hey, we want to show you the content that you're following for the people that you're following. Because you said these are important people to follow, we want to make sure that this shows up in your newsfeed and that you're inspired by this. Now, you can turn this function off if you want to, but this really plays into the dynamics of how Pinterest really works. It says, hey, we're not only here to self-promote, we're here to engage the entire platform and be inspired by what everybody puts up here, which is why there's something like 2.3 billion pins on the Pinterest platform. It's because they want you repinning and they want you to share other people's content, not just your own. So one of the ways that this happens is that when you create your pins now, you can share it in a multitude of places, especially around engagement. So with pins, one of the new things that you can do with this is that you can add it to communities. And communities is one of the big elements on the Pinterest platform that really allow for you to get your customers and your clients together around a certain topic, something that interests them. So the ability to share your pins to communities is really, really valuable on here. But I'm going to show you some of the limitations around communities that actually work in your favor. So you're going to share these to communities. Communities are a really cool feature, and I can't wait to talk more about it. The other thing you're going to notice that when you come to this pin is that you have the ability to share photos. So now you can ask your clients and now you can ask your customers to take pictures of maybe them wearing a jacket that they bought from you, or maybe they're holding up a new product they got, or maybe they're showing you their new landscaping project that they just did in their backyard. The ability for your customers to now engage with your pins is one of the best ways you can use your pins to engage and really boost its credibility on the Pinterest platform. Not only can you share images about how the product's being used, but now you can comment on them. You can come back and give feedback on them. You can ask questions. And if you're on mobile, high five and emojis are absolutely the way to go on this. So what Pinterest says is that we don't want you just to put the pin up here. We want to be able to create a community, to create an atmosphere that you can engage with these pins in such a way that you feel like you're part of that whole entire business platform. That's what makes this so unique when we talk about engaging on this community and really building that following and growing your business. Like I said before, we talk about communities. So communities is the element of building a tribe. So it's not just about self-promotion. I know that we've come across Facebook and we do a lot of Facebook groups. Pinterest says we're building communities. We're building communities so that people are inspired. They can come together and share what's important to them. A couple of the examples here are definitely world travel. So why not? They built a community about world traveling. So now you can invite people in. Now you can have them share their best travel tips. They can share their favorite places to go. This is really a powerful tool to find out what your customers want on this platform. Whether it's for your client or for your own business, this particular community that's on Pinterest really sets it apart because you get to see what interests your customers. And you get to find out how to get in front of them with your pins, your products, and even build collaboration boards that allow them to be a part of your conversation with your business. So how do you set up a community? I'm so glad you asked. There's a couple of elements around community that are defaults on the Pinterest platform. So you want to set up your cover photo. This is one of the big elements of this. Images are great, so we want to use the best image for this one. Name your community. Now, what's interesting about this is that your communities can be found on Pinterest. So you want to use the same SEO tactics that you've been using for your boards, for how you've set up your website. You want to make sure you have that same consistency in the communities you're creating. So if you have a logo, I would highly recommend putting your logo on your community boards so that they know that that's part of your brand. Your description, let people know how this community is going to be used. Let them know what it's going to be about, what it's for, what's allowed to be discussed in here. That gives people a sense of purpose and connectivity on this Pinterest platform. Now, a couple of the default settings on here are stay on topic. So Pinterest says we want to make sure that anybody that puts a post on the Pinterest community stays in topic. So it really cuts down the amount of spam on this platform because if you don't want it on there, it actually, from a user perspective, if I put something on a community, it actually pops up and says, hey, is this on topic for what this community is up to? So from a user standpoint, I'm notified that if I put something on here, it really needs to stay in line with what this community is up to. I think that's a very powerful element of the Pinterest platform, and I'm really thankful they did that. They also limit self-promotion. So again, this isn't promoting your own business. If you're creating this community, it's about collaborating with everybody else on this platform. So share ideas from all over the web, not just your own content. Now, you can keep these or you can get rid of them. It's completely up to you. But the idea that these are here to start with really give you a sense of how Pinterest wants communities to be used on this platform. And you can add your own rules. So if you want to have them say, hey, can you tell me where you're from, your name, anything like that, you can actually create rules of how they're going to engage inside your communities. So this is a really powerful element of Pinterest that allows you to engage with your customers and your clients in a whole new way. Share related content your audience is also interested in. Just like with communities, you want to be sharing content that your avatar is interested in. You have a client, they have an avatar, you have a client and say, hey, they're looking on Pinterest for koi ponds. Now, not only are they looking for koi ponds, maybe they're looking for certain types of fish. Maybe they're looking at certain types of landscaping. Maybe they're wondering if this is the perfect type of element to have in their backyard if they live somewhere in the world. So now you're looking at not only what they're looking for on Pinterest, But you also want to support them in other things they're maybe looking at. It could be the landscaping around the front of their house, the types of paints to use. This allows you to really look at the whole person instead of just one element, giving you an advantage over every other platform because you can engage with your perfect customer in a whole new way. Join collaboration boards. As a business or for client work, you want to join boards that allow for you to share your content, your business, your client work anywhere on the Pinterest platform. Because what we want is more exposure. We want to make sure that the pins you're creating aren't just getting pinned to one board, but they're getting pinned to collaboration boards, allowing more people, more eyes on your content so that it gets shared more frequently, it gets repinned, and really expands its growth on the Pinterest platform. After all, this is about growth and engagement, and collaboration boards allow for you to really grow your brand, grow your audience on this platform, allowing more followers, and we're going to be talking about promoted pins. That's going to be a key element as you want people engaging with your pins. You want to build that following, and this is a really powerful way to do this. So how do you know these collaboration boards exist? Well, when you look for them, you're going to see that it's not a single image in the circle here as on the screen. You're going to see it's cut into 3, where it has a main image and 2 smaller images. This tells you that this is a collaboration board. And now you can actually request to join these collaboration boards. And in requesting to join them, you get to be somebody that contributes. So make sure you follow the guidelines, the rules, and you're really putting value inside of these collaboration boards. A collaboration board allows you to engage with all your following. So when you create your collaboration boards, there's a couple things for you to know. You can invite people to collaborate, and Pinterest really upped their standing on this one. They've now allowed it to be easier and more effective for you to join boards or even invite people to join your board. So if you're creating collaboration boards for your businesses or for your clients, you now have the ability to turn this feature on and off on your boards. So as you can see inside this slide, all it does is a toggle. You can toggle, yes, people can request to be in these collaboration boards, or you can turn it off and just keep the boards as it is without allowing anybody else to collaborate. You also have the ability to send a link. So if you want to send them a link via email and invite people through other ways of social media, you can do this. And straight from the Pinterest platform, if you know their name on the Pinterest platform, you can invite them an invite straight on Pinterest, allowing you to really engage and use these collaboration boards in a way that we've never seen on Pinterest. And that's what makes it so unique. In the next segment, we're going to talk about traffic, how to invite people, and how to really increase your traffic to your website with some of the elements that we're looking for in the next training. So inside this training, we're going to talk about traffic, really inviting people from the Pinterest platform to your site. Now there's a couple of different pins that show up around Pinterest that allow you to really drive this home. The first one is definitely for content creation, optimizing your blog for lead generation. So when you have a piece of content on your blog, you want to create a pin that really pulls and engages them. So as you can see with this pin here, it talks about the Pinterest communities, which I just shared with you just a moment ago. It gives you the information and it pulls from the meta description around what this content is. It shows you who the person is that's putting this up here. The purpose of this pin is to create curiosity around the content. This is what we talked about as a blog content piece. Now we want them to take them to the website. So what you're going to see here is this is the Pinterest community. This is the Pinterest community pin on my blog. So this site is optimized for lead generation. It has an opt-in bar on the side. It also has an opt-in throughout the content and even at the end. So for lead generation, this is a really great way to use Pinterest. Take them from the platform, create the curiosity with a pin, and then have them read the content, want more information, join your newsletters, join your customer lists, whatever it is that you have on that platform to really engage with the customer. The other type of pin that we see do really well on the Pinterest platform is the one that actually goes to a subscription or capture page. Now, we've heard of in the past from other platforms like Facebook where you don't want to send people to a capture page. What's interesting is that Pinterest says, absolutely, send people to a capture page. So in this pin, I found it's Entrepreneurs on Fire. And when you click on this pin, it takes you to a opt-in. So you're going to subscribe for their newsletter. So this is what we call a capture page. So it talks about their monthly income report. It gives away something for free in exchange for an email. So this is one of the other powerful pins that you can create for Pinterest. So if you're working with your client, when you create that blog content or any piece of content, you want to think about, all right, are we creating a pin for the content? Then can we create a pin for the capture page that's maybe already on the blog content? So we want to look at a way to create that circle, that synergy around all your pins that are going on in the Pinterest platform. Another pin that we've seen do really well on the Pinterest platform is the product pin. Now, where I typically see the product pin is on the Etsy platform or on the Shopify platform. Because Pinterest says, hey, you can create buyable pins on this platform. How do you know it's a buyable pin? It's because it has a price on the top of the pin. As you can see here, this particular image goes for $99. You can click on it and you're sent to the product page. So now you have a place to buy it. So one of the ways you're looking to drive traffic from Pinterest to your site is either through content creation and having your site optimized for lead generation. You can take a pin and send them straight to a capture page. One of the things that Pinterest does request though is that if you are sending them to a capture page, let the pinner know that that's what they're going to see next. One of the things that has frustrated many pinners over the year is that they don't know they have to opt in to get the information. So having a capture page that has enough content on it to let them know what they're about to opt in for, what they're going to get out of it is really key. And creating a pin that says, hey, sign up for, get this information now, join my list. That type of language on the pin is allowed and actually encouraged by the Pinterest platform, because they said if you're going to send them there to exchange their email address for any type of information, let the pinner know. And when you do a promoted pin around this one, it actually does not have you get stopped or get denied on the Pinterest platform for having a pin that doesn't tell the pinner what's going to happen next. So you really want to make sure that the types of pin you're creating are in correlation for the outcome that you want to achieve for your client or even your own business. The other type of traffic that you can get, and we talked about this earlier, is the infographic. A lot of the times the infographic does really well in terms of brand exposure. It is a pin that ideally and most likely gets repinned. So as we've said before, people pin what's important to them. If pinners on Pinterest are pinning what's the most important things to them, they're also going to want to go to that site to find that information, to find that product, to find that training. From digital training to clothing to backyards to how your house gets decorated to weddings and birthday parties and social events, Pinterest really is the place where the buyers go. So having an infographic, maybe helping your customer find out how to buy products, the timeline they need to be aware of. The infographic really allows for you to engage your audience, to grow your audience and to be found amongst their followers and their users. So what we're going to talk about next is how to schedule and track all of this. Because tracking and scheduling on Pinterest is vastly different from any other platform, and I'm going to show you a little bit about that in the next training. So in this training, we're going to talk about scheduling and tracking. And the one thing I love about Pinterest is that you can actually schedule your whole entire week of marketing in just 1 hour. Actually, if you're really good at this, you can schedule your whole marketing for all of Pinterest in probably about an hour for the entire month. So let me show you how this really happens on the Pinterest platform. With Pinterest, this is a document that they put out every year at the beginning of the year. This is 2019's, and this is Pinterest Seasonal Insights. And what this provides for you and for your clients is that it shows you how people save on the Pinterest platform. So they're coming here looking at specific things for holidays, events in their life, and it shows you that how soon they start the process. So if we look at even New Year's, right, the first few months of the year, there's not a lot of engagement, but starting in June, we start to see pinners start looking for ideas, inspiration, pins, products, places to go. This starts happening right around June through December, where we can see it starts to taper off just a little bit at the end of December. A couple of other events that are really big on the Pinterest platform is definitely graduation, Mother's Days, Father's Days, and even the holidays. And for those of us that have clients that have products and services to sell, Black Friday is a big one for us. And Pinterest, as you can see here at the very bottom, shows you that as early as June, there are pinners on this platform looking for what they want to buy for Black Friday. So this is your opportunity to kind of start pre-planning and really thinking about your marketing strategy and how your client or even your business wants to be found on the Pinterest platform. One of the things to remember we talked about earlier is how long does the content last on the Pinterest platform? And really that just ties into what I just showed you. So when we look at what and how long a post lasts on social media, we see that Twitter is about 18 minutes, Facebook's about 5 hours. So this is the time in which you post on Facebook to how many people see it or how long it lives out there for exposure. It's about 5 hours. Instagram, about 21 hours. Now, the question I do get asked, and I want to put this in right here, is Instagram and Pinterest the same thing? They're both image-based platforms, and I have people say, hey, they're the same, why should I choose one or the other? Again, if we look at it from this perspective, Instagram is very much a social platform. It's about engaging with people. It's about life being lived. And that for me is what social media is. It's updating and getting in front of people's lives as they're living it and being curious about what's going on in other people's lives. So for me, Instagram is just that split second kind of marketing, right? So 21 hours is still a long time for an image or a product image to be found on this platform. And what we're about to see with Pinterest is that the time frame and how long an image lives is actually a lot longer. LinkedIn is the one platform that I kind of consider both a blend of social and search engine, because really a lot of business owners and employees are going there trying to recruit people, find people that are the right fit for their jobs. This is a platform that engages both the professional and the social. So there's a lot of content creation that goes up on this site also. From this point, we do see a dramatic shift in the time frame of how long a social media post lasts. We go from 24 hours to YouTube, which is 20 plus days. And this starts the process of looking at what is search marketing. So for YouTube, Pinterest, and blogging, this is all about SEO and keyword research. So that's why we see this type of content that lives a lot longer in terms of being found by customers, by your people that are looking for your business. That's what this is for. So as you can see here, a pin on Pinterest has a 4-month length of time. So if we're doing something for, say, Black Friday, you could go back as far as 4 months and start really creating the marketing strategy and the planning around what type of content and what kind of offers you're going to be offering for the Black Friday special. So how do you track this? Right? That's one of the big questions that comes up a lot. Is like, how do I track all this? How do I know what's the best time to start marketing this? Well, based on the information that you just saw, a content production calendar is going to be really critical. If you don't have one now, this is a great conversation to open up with your client and say, hey, one of the things about Pinterest is that it's a lot about planning and marketing. So what does it look like for the year? What products are you going to come out with? What specials do you want to be? What holidays do you want to create content around? This is really your planning stage, especially with your client, and letting them know you're going to need images, you're going to need content. This is that opportunity to start planning all this out. Now, the other question I get asked is, should I be on Pinterest every single day? The answer is yes. The Pinterest platform has evolved over the last few years. Where it used to be, as a business owner, you wanted to have a lot of pins going up, a lot of content going up, and this was really difficult, especially for the smaller businesses or those that are just starting out. So what Pinterest is really focused on this year and moving forward is that the first 5 pins that you place on the Pinterest platform carry the most weight. And it's not only the pin itself, but it's also the board you're putting it on. So we talked about SEO and how to craft those boards. It's really important that the pin you're creating and the marketing strategy you're creating matches the boards you're putting on. Again, this ties back into the collaboration boards, the communities. So as you can see, it all ties together. It's a very synergistic platform. So your daily method of operations, and we have a checklist for you that you'll find inside of this, that's going to tell you some of the daily actions you can be taking to stay engaged on this platform. Now, if you're like me, you're thinking to yourself, wow, I've got a lot of other things I need to do for my client because they want to be on other platforms, or I've got content creation, and we know that things take time. So one of the interesting things about Pinterest is that they said, hey, we're going to go ahead and collaborate and work with and partner with certain companies that do automation. We're going to make it easier for you to get your content up on this platform without actually having to physically be on the platform. So this is that 1 hour week that you're able to create. And what's really interesting is that once you create that content, both of these tools I'm going to share with you allow for you to create evergreen content, which means this content can keep coming up over and over again on the Pinterest platform. So wouldn't it be great if you created a piece of evergreen content that wasn't based on a season or a time frame, and that you could keep repinning this pin and have it come up onto these boards, and it would actually increase your awareness for your client or for your business. It would increase the exposure of being found on this platform, because as it gets engagement, as it has pictures maybe posted to it or comments made on it, it keeps it moving up and up into the algorithm on the Pinterest platform. My two favorite tools on this platform, and each one's a little bit different. So it's really, what are you out to do for your client? The first one is Tailwind. Now, Tailwind has been around for a very long time, and they're specifically for the Pinterest platform. They love Pinterest, and Pinterest loves them. So with that, what you'll see is that they have the ability for you to schedule content. They actually have what they call Pinterest tribes. So within Tailwind, you can create tribes of interest and collaboration boards, and that's built into the Tailwind platform. Another great feature around Tailwind is what they call pin looping. And we kind of alluded to that just a few moments ago around evergreen content. But what pin looping does inside of the Tailwind platform is that it takes a pin that maybe you created months ago or even a few months ago and says, hey, let's bring that back up to the top of your board. Because when you bring content back up to the top of your board, it looks fresh, it looks new. And what this allows for you to do is to kind of bring or repurpose that content again. And this is automated inside of Tailwind. So this is a really great feature and function around using Tailwind. Now, Viral Tag is another one that's been in partnership with Pinterest. And what makes this a really powerful platform is that not only does it work well with Pinterest, but what's great about this is that they want to be known as the visual marketing element for all of automation. So you can create pins for Instagram, you can create pins for, or you can create images for Instagram, you can create images for Pinterest, you can create images for Facebook, you can create images for LinkedIn, and it customizes this based on each platform. Because as you and I both know, each platform has a little bit of a difference on how they want their images posted to that platform. So Viral Tag allows you to create one image, then go into the editing feature, which actually is in touch with or connects to Canva. So if you have a Canva account, you can sync it up with your Viral Tag. So if you have to edit or create an image, you can do it right there in the Viral Tag platform, which makes this a real simple and easy platform to use, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of images, if you're doing a lot of image creation. And because it integrates so well with Canva, Canva says, hey, how can I put this on Viral Tag for you? So now you've cut down the time and energy it takes to be creating images, figuring out how to automate them, where you're putting them up. So this is an opportunity for you to choose, and maybe you might use both for how you want to work with your client. One might be a better suited because you're working with multiple social media platforms, including the search platforms like Pinterest. And another one might be just because you want to go all in and fall in love with the Pinterest platform for your business. Either one works really well, but these are the content strategies. This is the way you can schedule and track on Pinterest, and both Viral Tag and Tailwind allow for you to see the analytics to find out how well a pin is performing. And this is the kind of information you're going to need, especially to report back to your clients around what's working and what's not working around the Pinterest platform. Another thing that you're going to want to take a look at is the categories of interest. So Pinterest allows for you through the business page to look at your audience insights. Find out what pinners are actually engaging with on the platform. So we have everything from home and garden, design, and when you open these up, it actually gets even more detailed, more keyword into what people are really searching for on the Pinterest platform. So when you're looking at what to schedule, what are people looking for, what's going to be most relevant for them, it allows you to both craft the pin for the content marketing you're looking for. It allows you to look at the daily activities and what are the best interesting categories for your client or even your business to be doing on the Pinterest platform. So we've covered a little bit about how all this works, and then the next training, I'm going to show you how promoted pins work so that you can take all this organic traffic that you're creating through tracking and through automation and actually start applying promotions to it, which actually take it to the next level. And I think you're really going to enjoy what I share with you around the Promoted Pins platform.